Hey guys, what's up? Hope you guys are doing well. I posted yesterday topics for you. Okay. Hey guys, hey. Hey Ahmed, how are you?
Unless you have a question, please put your hands down.
Hello, Miss Yasmin.
Hey baby, how are you? Hey Mariam, hey Summer, hey guys.
Well, everybody waited too late to have their hands up. The only way the hands came up is when I announced that Austin was gonna have bonus points. Anyhow, let's start reading chapter 21. I'll put back to you, if you read, please.
Okay, so let's open up our topic list and go over that.
I'm very sorry, Miss, for being late.
It's okay, honey. Don't be. It's okay. No worries.
Miss, did you upload the videos on YouTube?
Yeah, all the videos that we have are on YouTube, except for the
Okay,
last
because
one. The last one, the one that was done when I told you the topics only, that one is not uploaded. But all the
okay,
other ones are. Okay. So again, this is actually not the assignment. All right, these are the topics. Okay. Let's go over them. Okay, just by looking at one by one, we need to understand that, first of all, we need to understand what market structure is. Okay, the definition of market structure. Can someone briefly tell me what does market structure mean? Okay, Lucy, please.
Competition between same businesses.
Okay, great. It's how competition is classified. So don't forget to mention that it's the classification or how the competition between businesses or the nature or and the degree. Okay, it's a term that describes the nature and the degree of the competition between or among firms of the same industry. Okay, and this is called the market structure. Okay, we discussed two theoretical market structures, and what are the two theoretical market structures? Hamid, can you tell me the two theoretical market structures? What are they?
Yeah, 2 children.
What are the two theoretical market structures that we mentioned? Hamid, can you tell me?
Second.
Are you driving, Hamid?
What?
Are you driving?
No, I'm at home.
Oh, okay.
I think perfect competition is one of them.
Perfect.
Yes?
Yes, that's correct. That's true. What's another one?
I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, Ahmed Matar, can you help him?
And of course, she gets freaked out.
Miss, can you repeat the question?
The two theoretical market structures that we said. Two theoretical market structures that we mentioned. What were they?
Perfect competition and pure.
Good job. Thank you, Rashwan. Okay, so Ahmed Rashwan, yes, you're absolutely correct. It is pure competition and perfect competition. Ahmed, what did I say?
Pure and perfect.
Yes, good. What did I say, Abdurrahman? I called your name something else?
You said Ahmed.
I just had Ahmed Rashwan, so that's fine.
Okay.
Sorry. All right, Hania, can you please give me some, Hania, can you please give me the characteristics? Please give me the characteristics of what makes a pure competition.
Wait. The pure competition. So it's when like the different markets that do the same product, they offer the same products with the same features and price.
Okay, so no, we need to.
Like, the differences are
okay.
very.
Okay, so let's just First of all, let's go. Let's just. We're looking for keywords. Okay, remember. So the first thing that you're mentioning is identical products. Okay, so we can just summarize this into
Yes.
identical products. Now explain. What do I mean by identical products? It means that that there's no need for that there's no difference between the products at all, and there's no need for brand names. Okay, there's also no need
Yes.
to advertise. Okay, because again, when products are they're not only same, but they're identical. Okay, so there's no differentiation at all. So again, in a pure competition,
Okay.
the first characteristic, identical products, and the explanation of identical products would be that the products are identical, that there's no difference between them whatsoever. Therefore, there is no need for brand names, and therefore there is no need for the seller to advertise their products. And there's also the seller's merchandise is just as good as the others. Okay, there's no product differentiation. Okay, if we're in a pure competition, our mine is not better than yours. My material is not better than yours. Nothing. It's just identical. Okay, so there's no brand names, no advertising. My merchandise or my goods are as good as your goods. Okay, and there's basically no difference between them. And this keeps the prices low. Okay, because we mentioned before that when you advertise, it's a cost of production. Okay, and it's a cost of production, and if you're spending money, you are it's going to reflect back on the price. Okay, it's going to reflect back on the price. Okay, let's continue on to the next thing that I do. Who can give me the next?
Miss, your voice is far away.
Who could give us the? Sorry, is that better?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, who can give me the next characteristic? So Hania gave us one, which is that they are identical products. Myrna, can you please, or actually, I'm sorry, Yakuta, you have your hand raised. So Yakuta, please give
There's
me the
no
next
barrier to
characteristic.
entry. No barriers to entry. Anyone can start the business.
Exactly. There's no barriers, or there's freedom of entry and exit. Okay, and the explanation to that means that again, everyone is free to enter into or conduct or get out of business. Okay, this freedom makes it difficult for producers of any industry, okay, to basically to keep the market to themselves. Okay, so the market, no, you're not dominating anything. The market is free to entry, you're free to exit. Okay, anyone can start a business, anyone could end their business. So here it keeps the market open and free, and no one can feel that they have the market to themselves. Okay, and there also it helps also to keep the prices competitive among firms, okay, of those in the business. Okay, so now we discussed two characteristics. Can we add the third characteristic? Shahid Ibrahim, can you provide the third characteristic, please?
Yeah, a very large number of buyers and sellers.
Good job. Very
So,
large number. Go ahead, continue. Explain. What does that? How is
the
that?
business,
Mhm.
so the firm itself cannot make a big change in the market price.
Exactly. Okay, not one single business can feel that that they could pressure or that they could manipulate the prices because they're too powerful. Okay, and these are the characteristics of a pure competition. Okay, then when we discussed the next type, which is also theoretical, which is the perfect competition, and here we added a fourth and fifth condition. Okay, or a fourth and fifth characteristic. Can someone add those two characteristics? What were they? Myrna, please.
Perfect knowledge. So both buyers and sellers are well informed about the products.
Good.
And the second is the perfect knowledge, and I don't remember the second one.
And the mobility,
Yes,
mobility
the
of
perfect
resources.
mobility of resources. Yeah.
Perfect. Good job, Myrna. Okay, so the fourth and the fifth condition that are added for perfect competition, again, like Myrna said, that all buyers and all sellers are aware of the conditions in the market. Okay, they're aware of all conditions in the market. Myrna, you said they're aware of the information about the product. So please just correct it that they're aware of all the conditions of the market or in the market, not the product, of the market itself. Okay, and the number or the fifth condition is the perfect mobility of resources. Okay, resources are also human, and this is one of the reasons for market failure. Okay, when resources are immobile or unable to move, so they're not being utilized to their fullest potential. Okay, so mobility of resources as our fifth condition. Okay, so good job. Okay, now we know that pure and perfect competition are theoretical, and we know the characteristics that go with them. Okay, the first type of competition we discussed was monopolistic competition, and when we discussed monopolistic competition, we said that it's the conditions of this monopolistic competition are what? First of all, let's first discuss what kind of products can we find that are in a monopolistic competition. What kind of products? Or is it like vehicles? Can cars be in a monopolistic competition? How about, yeah, true or false, Daniel? Vehicles can be in a monopolistic competition?
No, it's like clothes, cosmetics, and
I can't hear you, Daniel. I'm so sorry.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's cosmetics and clothing and food.
Perfect.
Shoes.
Perfect. At least one. Okay, so cosmetics. Good job. Designer clothing. Okay. Shoes. All right. These are the type of products that we can find in a monopolistic competition. Okay. Can someone tell me the features of a monopolistic competition? But the features of a monopolistic competition. What are the features of monopolistic competition? Let's go with Minna. Minna, please, can you give me the features of a monopolistic competition?
Yes, large number of buyers and sellers,
Good job.
free entry and exit of firms, the less mobility and high demand. There is different variety of products, and the advertisement and selling costs are high.
Okay, so let's just stop right here. Okay, first of all, we need to understand that we do have a large number of sellers and buyers in a monopolistic competition, and usually the products here are they identical, like the pure and perfect competitions, or are they just merely similar? Mariam, what would you say? The products in a monopolistic competition, are they identical, like pure and perfect competition, or are they just merely similar? Mariam. Yakuta?
Miss, I really can't hear you because there are workers upstairs.
Yakuta? It's okay, Mariam.
They're nearly similar.
Good job. They're only similar, and that means that they're not exactly the same. So there are a few aspects that can make them different. We said that monopolistic competition is divided into the word monopolistic and the word competition. Can someone tell me what does the monopolistic aspect mean and what does the competitive aspect mean? Okay, Daniel?
For monopolistic aspect, sellers has to place effort to convince consumers.
What are they convincing the consumer of?
About the product, it's unique and it's worthy.
Good job. Perfect, Daniel. Perfect answer. Okay, so again, the monopolistic aspect is convincing the seller, the buyer, that their product is unique enough and worthy of a higher price. Okay. Remember the example that I gave you between Zara and H&M? It could be the same similar shirt, but Zara's shirt is more expensive than H&M. So Zara is in a monopolistic competition with H&M. So here, the monopolistic aspect for Zara is to convince this buyer that they are and make them willing to pay this extra money, and be convinced that their extra price or their higher price is worthy. Okay. What about the competitive aspect? Who's Ahmed Matar? Can you describe the competitive aspect for me? Thank you, Daniel. Ahmed Matar, please. The competitive aspect?
Yes, miss.
Why do you guys, when I call your name, you didn't hear me for like what I said?
No, I heard you, but my net is so bad today. I'm sorry.
I hear you perfectly fine. Can you please answer the competitive the competitive aspect to monopolistic competition? What is it?
Reminders that if sellers raise the price too high, the consumers will ignore the differences and that change in the brands.
Good. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so the competitive aspect is to be very careful, not to raise the price too high that the buyer will become discouraged to buy and ignore this price difference because the sellers could possibly raise it too much. And it can cause the buyer to become discouraged and just change their minds and ignore these minor differences, whether they are material or design or even brand. Okay. So again, we know that a monopolistic competition, when they compete, how do they compete? Okay, what is the way through which monopolistic competitors or firms in a monopolistic competition compete? What is it? Peter, please.
They compete in which one has the brand, but he can't raise the price too high, so the consumers will ignore it. And the other will have like not a very good brand, but they will have low prices.
I need a keyword. No, that's not how it is. That's not how they compete. And through which method? Through what is the type? What is the keyword or the word that we use to describe how monopolistic competitors compete? Shad.
Okay, there are two methods. The first one, which is product differentiation, which is the consumer can see the difference between both products.
Good job. Okay, so through product differentiation, like when I showed you guys the two lipsticks and we discussed the packaging. Some of you guys discussed the color. Some of you guys even mentioned the way that it's applied. Maybe one cannot smear. One could last longer than the other. Okay, one's color is better than the other, or a better shade, better packaging. Okay, so again, these are product or ways to differentiate your product. So again, Peter, one way of how monopolistic competitors compete is through product differentiation. And product differentiation means to provide features or to provide differences. Okay, real differences, or they can even be imagined differences, or things that the consumer can see that another consumer might not see. Okay, that makes your product stand out or differ from another product that's in the same industry. Okay, just like the MAC lipstick and the Kylie lipstick, same industry, cosmetics, different brands. How can Kylie make hers stick out more than MAC's? Okay, so this is the idea of product differentiation. Thank you, Shahid. What is the second type through which monopolistic competitors can compete? What is another way through which monopolistic competitors can compete? Nada, please give me the second way.
I'm not sure.
Okay, how about Omar?
Yes, miss.
Please tell me the second way through which monopolistic competitors can compete. Shahid mentioned product differentiation. What is the second way? Abdurrahman Ashwan, you're here?
Yes.
Ahmed Matar, you're here?
Non-prime competition.
Ahmed Matar?
Yes, miss.
Dahroug, Dahroug. Ahmed Dahroug. Okay, Dahroug is not here. Daniel, you're here. Gamal, you entered late. Gamal, please be on time next time. Hamid, you're here. Kareem. Kareem is not here. Okay, you're here. Okay, Muhammad Kiki. Muhammad Kiki. Okay, Kiki is not here. So Dahroug and Kiki are not here. Abu Farh. محمد أبو الفرح. محمد no. Abu al-Farh is not here. Omar, you're here. Peter, you're here. Yusuf Mashali? Mashali, you're here. Yusuf?
Yes.
Okay. Basant? Pusi?
I'm here.
Thank you. Farah? Farah? Okay, Farah is not here. Okay, Hania is here. Jana Sobh? Jana? Jana's not here. Luji's here. Mariam is here. Maya? Maya?
Here.
Okay, Minna's here. Myrna's here. Nada's here. Salma? Salma?
Miss, did you say my name because I didn't hear?
Yes, I did, Mariam. Salma? Salma? Okay, Salma's not here. Summer?
I'm here يا miss.
Thank you. Perfect. Shahid Ibrahim, you're here. And Shahid Tamim? Shahid Tamim is not here and Yakuta is here. Okay, so absences for today. Dahru Kiki, Abu Farh, Farah, Jana Sobh, and Shahid Tamim, and Salma. Okay. All right. So again, Omar, do you have an answer? I took attendance to give you time to think.
It was through the non-prime competition.
Non-price. Non-price. Remember, I typed it wrong in the PowerPoint.
The non-price competition, like advertisement, price competition, like advertisements and promotions and giveaways.
Good job. Perfect. Okay. So advertising, giveaways, and promotions are ways of non-price competition, and they are made to convince buyers that the product is unique, okay, and better than their competitors. Okay. We know that advertising is very important in monopolistic competition. However, we need to understand that when a designer or when a brand or when a producer spends too much on advertising, it reflects back on the price of the product. Okay, they tend to raise the price above their competitors' price because again, advertising is an expense. It's a cost of production. And again, it reflects back on the price that the consumer pays. So please be careful from this idea. Okay, so next type we discussed oligopolies, and can someone just quickly, briefly tell me an oligopoly? The characteristics in the number of sellers and buyers are different. Can someone tell me how do they differ? Myrna, please.
Few large firms. There are only few, but large firms like food chains, like McDonald's, KFC, and also like car industry.
Good job. Perfect. So here Myrna gave us the characteristics, and she also helped us with the types of products that we can find in such a competition. So in an oligopoly, we can see in the fast food chains, okay, the big dominant chains of food, okay, and fast food chains, and also in the auto industry. Okay, and here we see a few large sellers. Okay, there are a few, but they're very large sellers. Okay, so here we have different terms. Okay, all right, so let's see here, and we also discussed the cellular phone industry. Remember how I told you that in America we only in here in Egypt even we only have Etisalat, Vodafone, Mobilin. All right, these are three. I believe they're like the dominant ones. So again, this is an oligopoly. So telecommunication industry, the telephone service industry, the fast food industry, the auto industry. These are some of the ones that you can remember. Okay, let's move on to how do they behave? All right, how do they behave? How do they behave? Luji, go ahead.
They compete by copying each other.
Good. Okay. So here, when they compete, they also compete through, by copying each other. Okay. they compete, the competitors, if one company decides to lower the price on their goods, then the other firm will copy by also reducing the price on their goods. Okay, they're doing this to attract new customers, but they're also afraid of losing their original customers, okay, or their existing customers, okay, because I can just easily shift. Remember, they're substitutes, because their products are what, guys? Are their products different or their products similar?
Similar.
They're similar, okay. So I can easily risk my existing customers can just easily go. If we're in the fast food industry, if McDonald's has an offer, we can go eat at McDonald's instead of Burger King, okay. So it's easily substituted. All right, so again, good job, Yaluji. They copy from one another, so this is how they behave, okay. Usually they, because their products are similar, okay, whenever one firm acts a certain way or offers a certain promotion, the other competing firms, they feel risky, okay, they feel that they are at a risk of losing their customers. So what do is that they act accordingly, and they behave accordingly by copying whatever the first firm did, or just to save their existing customers, and in hopes of gaining even more customers. All right, they give you an example of when leasing a car. Okay, sometimes in order to attract customers in the automobile industry, you can offer them to take a car and with zero interest. And remember, we said leasing means when you purchase a car and you pay for it monthly. Okay, you don't pay for it one shot, but of course every month you have to pay for it plus a certain interest rate. Okay, so when you do that, when they offer this, what they're doing is that they're telling them basically they can pay the money back every month without an interest, and this would be a great offer. So usually when one company does that, or one firm does that, like GM, General Motors, Ford, you'll see that other automobile industries can copy the same model. Okay, the same promotion, matching. Okay.
معلش انا بس دخلت متأخر النت كان بيقطع.
It's okay, Dahrug, no problem. Okay, it's good that you're here now. Okay, so what did we say collision was? Why and what is collision, and what is the problem with collision? Okay, Gamal, can you please remind us of what collision is? And what is the one form of collision that we discussed?
Yes, miss.
What is collision, please?
I forget, miss.
Oh. Who did not forget what collision is?
Thank you very much. Basically, everything that Laura just read is
everyone forgot
what everyone is doing at the courthouse.
It's an
Yes.
agreement.
It's
the price.
When they all agree on one price?
Exactly, perfect. Okay, it's an agreement made between firms on agreeing to do what? To set the prices, at a certain price. And a form of collision is called price fixing. Okay, a form of collision is called price fixing. Okay, and we know that price fixing is it okay in the United States? Is it allowed to be practiced in the United States? Please tell me, Kareem, is price fixing allowed in the United States? And if it's not allowed, explain why. Kareem, please.
No, it's not allowed.
Can you please explain why it's forbidden? It's against the law in the United States. For price fixing is against the law. Why?
Because people have the freedom to choose the price.
We don't choose the price. People do not choose the price. The market chooses the price. Remember, we said, and we discussed price. We said price is neutral. It's not biased for the buyer or the seller. So technically, the seller doesn't choose it. But here, what the seller is doing is that they're choosing the price, and this is why it's against the law, because you're breaking the rule, or the of what prices, or one of the features of what makes price actually legitimate. Okay, because it should be a compromise between buyer and seller. Okay, when we reach a point of a middle ground between buyer and seller. So here, when we go into price fixing, we see here that the price charged is determined. It's not determined under competition. It's actually fixed and set by the sellers themselves, and they all agree on doing that, and they can actually even charge higher. And if you go to every single other option and you see that they're selling it for the same price, you're going to be forced to buy it for that price. So you're basically putting the buyer at you're stripping the buyer away from their choices. Okay, and you're not allowing price to formulate under competition. And here it is a bias. Price becomes biased to the favor of the buyer, not the seller, and you're taking away the normalcy of competition. Okay, this is why price fixing is against the law in the United States. Okay, then we go into monopolies, and we discussed that a monopoly, it's a market structure where there's only one seller, okay, of a particular product, and it depends on the situation that you're in. And we discussed four types of monopolies. Okay, and the first one was natural monopoly, geographic monopoly, technological monopoly, and government monopoly. Okay, so please know these three. There's four types of monopolies, and just be ready to just explain in a natural monopoly. What could possibly happen, or know a scenario. If I say, for example, that like in a natural monopoly, government allows it to happen, okay, because we know that this firm is able to provide this service or this good at a low price, okay, that no one will be able to do it, and it's usually the government allows it in this case with a little bit of government regulations and government laws and interference. Geographic manipulation is because you end up being the only seller of a certain product in a certain area. Imagine your block, and if there's only one pharmacy on this block, then this pharmacy is in a geographic monopoly, because again, it's just the only pharmacy in the area. But if somebody else opens a pharmacy in the area, then it breaks the geographic monopoly issue. Technological monopoly, again, think COVID. Okay, think Pfizer. Think that they have the competitive edge, or the technological the technological advantage of having a certain formula for this vaccine. Think among these ways of other things also. It could be a scientific method or a manufacturing method that a certain firm only has. It gives them a competitive edge, and they become, based on that, monopolizing the industry. Okay, we also mentioned that the government allows you to patent your creations and your inventions and your new methods, okay, only for a certain amount of years. Okay, inventions are covered for 20 years, and then they become 20, remember, 20 years to zero, and then they become public property so that other people can learn and benefit from them. Okay, government monopoly, again, is when, again, a monopoly owned by and operated by the government. Government monopolies are in cases such as in industries such as, for example, when, or this occurs when the product that's going to be manufactured cannot be or is not allowed to be manufactured by private businesses or private individuals. Okay, like for example, certain alcoholic beverages, we said that cannot be sold through normal people. It has to be sold through state stores. So here the government has to produce it or regulate it, then it becomes a government monopoly. Okay, these are the types of monopolies that we discussed, and then we went into market failure. Okay, and market failure, remember we said market failure exists when resources are not allocated efficiently. We discussed not enough competition. I covered it for Myrna last time. We discussed not enough information, and we talked about health insurance issue, gaining knowledge about the health of a person before they sign the policy, so that gives them an advantage, and it leaves the consumer at a disadvantage, because we can have a bunch of people that are uninsured because we gained more knowledge than we should have as a health insurance provider. We discussed the third reason, that resources can't move or will not move. And we discussed the idea of when business shut down and people are unemployed. Okay, these people that are unemployed now or left unemployed or jobless they're an example of unemployed resources. If you can move to a certain to another country and work, okay, or get another job at a different state, this is an example of resources that are mobile. They can move. But if you cannot move for any reason, you don't want to leave your family behind, or you're just not interested in moving, then and you remain jobless, then you're basically a resource that it cannot move or is unable to move. Okay. Then finally, too few public goods. And we said that public goods are goods that are made for the usage of the public, that if I use it, it will not hinder or lessen the satisfaction for anybody else's usage. Okay, we discussed highways, we discussed parks, uh, um, public places. Okay, we also discussed Katrina. Don't forget Hurricane Katrina, about the dams. Okay, and we said that unfortunately these public goods are not really they're not of interest by the public or by private industries to build them or to manufacture them or to improve them, because they do not provide any return, because these public goods are usually free. Okay, so there's no profit from them, so it's usually up to the government to maintain them and build them, and governments usually do not pay attention to such public goods. Okay, so they're left unmaintained, unrepaired, and for Hurricane Katrina we saw that um, these dams were weak. Okay, and they were people knew that these flood walls will not be able to put up with another flood, with another hurricane, and this is what happened, and unfortunately the losses that had to be recovered after the hurricane made Hurricane Katrina the costliest US hurricane on record. Okay, then we finally went over externalities. Okay, and externality is another word for a spillover, and spillover is an uncompensated side effect by a third party as a result of an action that did. And we said that we can have positive spillovers and we can have negative spillovers. Think of the flight ticket or the plane. Okay, increasing the routes from twice a week to five days a week. Then here what happens is we have people that are happy, they got positive spillover, the families of those who are able to travel now more because they can see their family members more often. The negative spillover would be the people living around the airport. Okay, they can deal with noise. Okay, you guys had homework and you guys were talking about rendering plans, and a lot of you guys were able to actually answer the question properly. And we discussed what you guys mentioned in your homework, that one negative spillover would be the awful smell that would be coming as a result of living nearby a rendering plant, because rendering plants deal with animal waste and so on. Okay, so I'll give you a little scenario probably tomorrow, and I can tell you, I'll give you a spillover, and yeah, I just need you to tell me if it's a negative spillover or a positive one, or maybe I'll give you a scenario and then I'll require you to think of a positive spillover to it or a negative spillover to it. Okay, then we finally mentioned how can the government deal with negative spillovers or harming. How can we punish those involved in a spillover? And we mentioned that pollution is the biggest spillover and that has a negative effect. We mentioned that we can make pollution illegal, but we can also tax them. But taxing is going to make the product more expensive. So now the people that are actually purchasing their product are going to be punished instead of the actual company. All right, so it's just a matter of what to do. Okay, and that's basically it. We have less than a minute. I hope that I gave you guys a good review. Yes?
Since you are taking the quiz online, if we mistake any word, what will happen?
I hope that you do not spell any words, Daniel, especially that you're taking the quiz online.
So it's going to be incorrect, all the questions?
I don't see any words that are difficult.